like, you know what? You wanna Hey y'all, welcome back. Oh my gosh, this is literally like my third day on YouTube and I cannot believe I already have 7 subscribers. Oh my gosh. I know it's like literally less than 10, but I don't care. I'm still proud of myself. So today we're going to be talking about mind blocks, and if you struggle with this, trust me, I understand exactly where you're coming from, okay? And I really hate when people are all like, fear isn't real. Mind blocks aren't real. Okay, be that as it may, it feels very real, all right? And so if somebody says like, oh, it's not real or whatever, it just makes me feel even worse, because now it's like, okay, I'm scared and now I'm delusional too, so that's great. So if you feel that way and you want to know how to get through it, keep on watching. So mind blocks is a term heavily used in the cheer and gymnastics world, but it is something that can happen to everybody with anything, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and define it. A mind block is simply being afraid to do the thing that you know you are capable of doing. And a mind block can come in 3 different forms, and I'm going to go through all 3 examples and how to get through them. And I also have a bonus one at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. So way number 1, a mind block can show up is when you are doing the exact same thing, just at a higher level. So this can happen in tumbling when you change surfaces. So when you go from the tumble track to the raw floor, or the raw floor to floor, or what have you, this can happen because your body just isn't used to the change, you know, like it realizes something different is happening. And so you kind of freeze up or tense up, even though it's the exact same thing. It's the exact skill that you just did, just on a different level. If you are not familiar with tumbling or anything in that sense, then this can also happen in different ways. Like, for example, if you have to give a speech, right? And you've been over the speech a bunch of times, you said it the same way, you performed it in the mirror, you're great, you're good to go. And as soon as you get in front of a crowd, you know, you freeze. But it's the exact same thing you just did, you know? So the way to get over this is to make a ritual. And what I mean by that is find something that you can do, that you do the exact same way every single time before you do the thing that you're scared of, right? So my ritual is when I'm about to tumble, I take a deep breath in, I take a deep breath out, I inhale, I get up on my toes, and then I go. Because when I do that, my brain knows I'm about to tumble because I do the exact same thing before every single pass. So if I don't do that thing, I feel like I'm not gonna go or something's gonna go wrong. And so just to save everybody some time, I just go ahead and do my ritual. So whatever that thing is that you are scared to do, if you have to count to 10, if you have to clap your hands 3 times, whatever it is, whatever ritual that you can come up with that you know will work, then that is what you do. The second way mind blocks can show up is when you do something fine with help, but as soon as you don't have that help, all of a sudden you don't know what you're doing anymore. And it goes without saying that that comes from just doubting yourself and not having faith in what's coming next. But I mean, how can you if you're doing something for the first time without help that you've had in the past? So an example for this in tumbling is when you do something with a spot versus doing something without a spot. And this is notorious because some people will kind of develop this crutch where they feel like they need a spot or somebody to stand there when they absolutely do not. They are 100% capable of doing this skill, but they just have this thing in their head that's telling them that if that person or that spot is not right there, they cannot or they will not go. And once again, this does not just apply to tumbling. This can go with anything, whatever your craft is, you know? Or like, for example, when you're trying to learn how to ride a bike, of course you start off with the training wheels, but eventually you get good enough to the point where you do not need the training wheels anymore. And when you get on there for the first time without the training wheels, of course it can be kind of nerve-wracking because you've never done it without that type of help before. And you start thinking about how you might hurt yourself. And then with that, you manifest just that. You end up getting hurt. A way to get over this, I know this might sound kind of backwards, but you just gotta let yourself fall, okay? I mean, I know that does not make any sense, but here's like the art of it. Basically, when you just kind of let yourself fall and you do it for the first time and you just kind of see how it goes, you know you're not gonna die, you know? And then you start to feel more comfortable. So if you're doing a pass for the first time without a spot, just do it. And then if you fall, okay, you fall. But you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. I actually almost landed, that matter of fact. Let me try it for real this time, and then actually try, and then you'll probably land it, you know? So back to my example with the training wheels. So you're going for that first time without the training wheels, and then you're doing the exact same pedaling that you've been doing, and you realize like, oh, that's not that bad. You know, that's the same thing. So if you just do it and you kind of just see what happens the first time, you know, and if it's not that bad, you're like, all right, well, I was tripping for no reason. And the third way mind blocks can show up is, and y'all, this is honestly the hardest one to get over, but it's when you are doing something that you have always been capable of doing, and something happens, and then for some reason you feel like you can't do it anymore. An example of this when tumbling, I feel like this one is really common as well, is when you fall and you know you hurt yourself, you get injured or whatever, or it was just plain scary, and then you get back up and you go to do it again, and you just don't, you feel weird, you're frozen. Like I said, it's a defense mechanism, and it's just like, okay, like how do I even do, like you just forget like how to even do it, you know? An example of that is outside of cheer and tumbling is when you are doing something that you know you are good at, and some life circumstances happen or something comes up, and then all of a sudden it's just not your thing anymore. Like let's say that you're good at crocheting, like let's say that's your craft, and one day like you're doing real good, and let's say you even selling, you're making a lot of money, and then somebody comes up and tells you like, oh, this is trash, or some life circumstance happens that kind of like rewires your brain in a weird way. Like let's say like a family member passes away or something like that. You come back to it and it doesn't feel the same anymore. It's just like, why am I even doing this? Like, this can happen because your brain has identified as whatever you're doing as not safe. So when you are in the fight, flight, or freeze, and you're really deep into the freeze, you know, because your head is telling you do not do this because in the past this happened. And this is how you get over this one, okay? But first you have to know that nothing will happen unless you press forward. And what does that look like? You gotta fight. You have to fight, and it is a special kind of fight because it's up here. You have to give yourself absolutely no way out, and it's gonna feel like a losing battle, but you only lose when you stop showing up. Because okay, so the mind block, it got the best of you yesterday, it got the best of you the day before that, it might get the best of you tomorrow, but you know what, you keep coming back for more, because that is when you win. Okay, because if the mind block got in your way one day and you came back for more, then you actually didn't lose, okay? So you gotta be like, you want to fight? You gotta tell the mind block, you, because I am coming back and I am going to do this and I am going to be the best. That's what you have to say, okay? You have to keep showing up. That is how you get over this last one, okay? Because you know that it's so frustrating because your mind and your body are just not in sync for some reason, and you know you can do it, you've been doing it, and something happened, something got in your way, and you got to stand up and say, I'm gonna fight. That's what you got to do, all right? Like even in Rocky, he was getting beat down to the point where even his coach was like, stay down, stay on the ground. Rocky was like, nah, bro, come on, like give me what you got. You gotta accept the fact that it's gonna feel defeating, and that's okay. It's okay to feel things. Don't let nobody tell you can't feel this way, you can't feel this way, like don't tell yourself that, whatever. If I feel this way, then I feel this way. I'm not gonna say that I not feel that way, because then I'm gonna be lying to myself, and that's just gonna spiral into something worse. Okay, it's okay to feel ways, but it's not okay to identify with those ways, because as soon as you identify with the way that you feel, that's what you become. Okay, you can feel like a complete bum and loser, but you can identify as a winner, and that's what you become. Like once again in Rocky, like He knew he was going to lose that fight. He knew he was going to go in there and get beat terribly. But you know what? He identified as a winner, and he identified as a winner because he knew that he was going to keep getting up no matter what. And that's what he ended up becoming. Mind blocks can feel impossible. But honestly, impossible is just a word that people use that just do not want to acknowledge the greatness that is already within them. God has already provided you with everything that you need inside of you to fulfill your purpose. He is not capable of making a problem for which he did not provide a solution for. Every situation that you face, he has already provided a solution. Because if he did not, then that would make the situation bigger than God, and the situation would be like it's God and can't nobody be God but God, okay? And here is the bonus mind block version way that it might show up, okay? So if you come in one day and you're doing your skills or you're doing your craft, whatever you're good at, and then the next day you freaking suck, then honestly, I don't consider that a mind block. That's just an off day, okay? It's okay to have off days. You're not gonna have an amazing day every single day, you know? And to expect that from yourself is just too overwhelming. So honestly, if it keeps happening over and over, go back to the fight. Then it turns into a fight. But if it's not the case and you come in and you're just off one day, then that's not really a mind block. And honestly, that's just an off day. But it's a way that they can kind of show up and manifest into a mind block. So I just want to make sure I included that too. I really hope y'all got something out of that. All right, y'all. But that is all I have for today. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will leave a clickable subscribe button in the bottom right corner of this video, and I will also link it in the description. Okay? All right. See y'all later.